it.
From the other room.
Hopefully it just got the tabs and not the burp that preceded.
All right, get started. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of
the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this special meeting in the Oldenburg Town Council is to discuss building permit for the Maypole Heritage Park shelter. Do you have anything you'd like to present to us?
Yes, we do. So I think we had given you some documents to review
You got it.
so that you are versed in what the topic is today, a little bit more detail. So we'll just walk through this high level, if that's okay, as a guide.
Sure.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're here tonight to ask for the town to go ahead and place forth a building permit to do what we call a shade shelter for the Maypole Heritage Park. And it's part of our ongoing phase development of the park. As you guys know, that was part of our comprehensive plan. So this is phase 4 that we're working on now. And that's some of the amenities of the park. So the shade shelter is something that we were eligible to do as part of leftover DNR grant money. As you well know, the bulk of that money was for the trail. And then there was funds left over that we could use as we see fit, as long as they fit a guideline for that park. And some of those amenities that we are using for the funds, and those would be, for example, the OA benches. We'd like to purchase some of those. 4 picnic tables for this new shade shelter, pet waste station, and also we will owe ProPrints some sign fees for the bollards and the trail rules that we're creating. So that amount came to $11,900. Our remaining funds left from that DNR grant was $67,786. So that left us $55,886 to spend on a shade shelter.
Can you run back a little bit, Darren? Sorry, go back to total remaining funds, if you could. 67.
Yeah, $67,786.94. And so, just to recap, the OA park benches was $5,000. 4 picnic tables for the shade shelter at $6,400 for a pet waste station, and $500 to ProPrints for signs for the park.
Got it.
So that brought us to that $11,900. So if you subtract that from our $67K, that left us $55,886.94 that we could put towards the shade shelter. So we contacted Dylan Walmsley of Hollow Bird Construction. I got that right? Bird Hollow Construction, and owner and proprietor. And we sought his advice because of his expertise with just the beam structures of older looking shelters. Even though they might be new, he does a nice job of retrofitting the old into looking new. And he also had some trusses from the Big 4 that we have here tonight, if you'd like to see them. So just the Big 4 was torn down years ago, and you can go into any story that you'd like to hear about that. But some really authentic 1,800 pieces for some of the hardware for the shelter.
Okay.
So basically, we asked Dylan to give us an estimate, which he did. And the amount was a total of $75,163. And Tyler, just to let you know, also this is also that document.
It's in there. Okay.
Yeah, all that we're giving you is already there.
Right.
So his shelter proposal came to $75,163. And then we had that 55,886 left to spend on the shade shelter. And so that left us with a amount needed beyond the grant allocation of $19,277. And we are actively seeking a grant to make up that gap fund. So that's kind of the lay of the land financially where we sit.
Okay,
Any questions about that before we maybe give you some more details about the actual?
and this is the grant, the Hillenbrand,
Yeah, that's the Hillenbrand grant.
okay,
And Bill, I think you submitted that just recently.
Yeah, funny, I just saw Lisa today.
Okay.
Again, but yeah, so, been in contact with their board and that was favorable. And they have a spring, like a May and a fall where they meet. But they make some exceptions about timing. So I let them know that we just wanted to get that, sought and resolved as quickly as we could. And they got all the information. And I actually just saw, one of the gals that's on the board today. And she said it's in their hands and everybody favorably proceed.
okay.
So that should proceed phase, I think.
Do you have any idea when? the
I
decision
let
will
them
be
know that we were the situation that we were in, we were looking to fill that gap and just know that we were verified as soon as possible. So, I mean, that could be as soon as a week, it could be under a month, I would hope. So,
Okay.
certainly fits, here we go to quite a bit of research about the kind of things that they've funded before, obviously pretty major benefactors in Oldenburg and Academy. And so I think it's a shoe in really there for the sort of causes that they've supported.
Okay.
Okay.
You can continue.
All right, very good. So if you'll look at this document, the PowerPoint, it'll give you some visuals of the actual shade shelter. And so this first rendering, the renderings in here are actually just very, very similar designs from the internet that we took off that mirrors very closely to what Dylan is building. And Dylan also has his actual plans at the end of this document. Plus, he's also even brought in his big plans if you want to see them.
Yeah.
So real quick, this first page shows you the specs for the pavilion. So I won't read them all. I think the highlights are it's going to be a 2024 white oak timber frame, 10 by 10 beams. So something very substantial and appropriate for Oldenburg to kind of connect into our heritage. In fact, the way we originally landed on this design when Jeff and I were doing research is that we were looking for German pavilion designs, and this is the one that kept coming up that called to us the most. So you'll see here in the picture also, besides the heavy timber look and the trusses again that are going to be authentic 1800 era trusses and hardware, there's also a rock going to be going up each of the posts here, just as it shows.
Mm-hmm.
This picture shows a fireplace, so we're not doing a fireplace at all. So just to clarify that. So that, oh, and also it's worth mentioning that it will also have the seamless tin roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a feature. Anything else, Jeff, you want to mention that's unique to know about our shelter design?
Yeah, so the total price will also include the concrete pad, and it'll be 2-foot wire all the way around. It'll also have connectors on both sides, so it connects to the east and west side of the trail.
Okay.
Yeah, which the drawing kind of generally shows the
Yeah, the plans that we were
curved
given.
sidewalks. And Randy's gonna do a concrete work for us. So and that'll be matching, since he's done all the rest of that flat work down there, it'll be matching, really more like matching towards the approaches, which would be groove finished as opposed to the stamped.
Okay.
Like that. So we'll only have two of the pavement and we'll have the two different types of concrete finishes down there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that shows how the radius sweeps into the wall pads.
So yeah, that's a good diagram to show you the location. Basically on the north side of where the pickleball courts will be. So it'll be nice for certainly shade, but also respite for the sports court area. And really, there's enough room to put those 4 picnic tables, so it can also be a picnic pavilion within that space.
And there are no utilities located in that area.
Not this time.
We'll take the downspouts, there's a catch basin right on the north side of the court, so that's a short run, you take the downspouts to there. And
With the black, the corrugated pipe.
probably use solid green, which is
Okay.
just a heavier duty version, basically. But that's, yeah, it's effectively the same. Get it
Okay.
there. So
We discussed with, excuse me, with licensing in that catch basin, just so there's no tripping hazards, that they would come in, dig that up a little bit, core out that catch basin, and the downspout drains will be run right into there, so everything can be underground.
Okay.
I think the last thing to note, and then please, any questions you have, is this page shows the actual detailed invoice from Bird Hall Construction from Dylan. And it shows you the total there of the 75K. And it also mentions, I think it's worth knowing, that Dylan is donating the reclaimed iron truss hardware originating from the 1800s. So thanks for Dylan for that piece. And also, as well as pre-construction design, research, and planning time has also been donated. So we appreciate that. So that is kind of an overview, and we'll open up for any questions that you guys have.
Can I see that first page of the plan?
And Dylan has these plans
yeah, that's, I mean,
right here if you want to see a little bit.
it certainly gives you a good idea of everything if you get it up close, but it's,
Verify that it's gonna have curved truss.
yeah. So I don't know if you guys have, up by the post office building, they're behind the post office building. So over a number of years, I've done a lot of work in there. So I don't know if you've ever seen in there, but you get an idea about the kind of timber work and just things that I've done in the past. So, but yeah, this is really to scale. So this is, this is really the way I'll cut these trusses in my workshop. And this shows the foundation detail. So these are going to be footers and then masonry columns that'll be poured separate from the slab. So that'll be, really substantial footing down there. And then there'll be a heavy duty metal post base that'll connect, and that'll all be anchored down into the masonry column. And then you can see these rods. So, everybody knows where the Big Four Tavern used to be, probably.
Mhm.
So it's interesting that Tom, I actually salvaged a lot of that material with Tom when he did the demolition of that. And I'll bring them up and show them to you, but I've been saving them just because they're really special. So when the guys came up with that inspiration picture that they really liked, I was looking for ways that I could kind of tie it back to something authentic. So I have more than enough of all of these hardware, and this is a major structural component that we'll be able to use, that really does a lot of work as far as how the truss holds together. And I'll bring them up and show you how it all works. So I have these up to 10 feet long. So these are hand forged. They got this giant washer on them, and they'll be all cleaned up and painted.
Okay.
So I've used some of these for other uses before. So these all break loose, and you can clean up the threads. And I'm going to have to I'll cut a lot of the rods down and put threads on them according to the lengths that I need. But they're, originally the Big Four Tavern was maybe 45 feet wide. So they're definitely plenty massive enough. And I've been saving them for probably 15 years, really. So I was pretty excited to find a good use for it. And And this is another part. So if you'll see that, so this is all hand forged stuff. You'll see this center connection. So what'll happen, this is what. So I'll bore out for the timber, and then these wedges tighten it up, and that creates a tension connection that's just, it's really interesting how it works. And I thought it would be a really neat way to incorporate some really old history into it.
Right.
I've salvaged old stuff. I've worked, you remember when I worked on your old salvaged old cabin. So I've worked on old stuff like that for a long time. This is all these timbers are Randy Schrank is gonna saw all the white oak timbers for us. So all that stuff is right from Franklin County. So just kind of little things that really make it authentic to the old stuff that we've got in the
Right,
town.
that's a good idea.
Just to give you, so it's a pretty special project for me being here my whole life and getting to do something, that's